let's move out to the not-so-hidden village and take this place back from the cult and their golem-faced game crasher. You'll understand what that means a little bit later. I actually do kind of like this song. For some reason, this song is called The Northern Continent, even though we've been on the Northern Continent for a while, and, it's only played for this map. So, this map, it's full of monsters, and it's also full of summoners. Yeah, quite a few of them. Got a skeleton summoner there, ogre summoner there, we have some gargoyles, we also have some shadow lancers. I already went over that on the map screen. This guy right here, I like to send Raffin to bonk this guy as soon as possible, because you do not want to deal with these gargoyle spawns all throughout this map. And then we also have some swarm guys. Yeah, 1 to 3 range is actually pretty nasty. And then this guy, so pay attention to the turn counter, because that has 2 to 5 range, and it's AoE, and he can use it every 2 turns. It'll be grayed out whenever he can't use it. He can also annoyingly physic people. We also have some Entombed here, but they are in relative close swarm range, so you will actually need to be careful of training your weak characters against them. Now, in terms of who I deploy here, I actually think I'm going to go ahead and check War of Dragons deployment guide here, because I want to make sure that Raffin goes in the right spot. Okay, we should be ready to go. Some of my deployment choices may seem a bit weird, but I need to bring Sharon and Shiro just to make sure that my other deployments go in the right spots. Also, if you have Sasha on Rune's route, you want to bring her to this map, because she has an event where she can gain +3 luck. I won't be able to do it in this playthrough, obviously, but I do have footage of that, which I will show later. Oh yes, that vague plot sense. I sense generically evil cultists here! So every time I see the name Claris, I just keep thinking of the way the villain in Castle of Cagliostro says that. I don't think it's actually spelled that way, but like he just says it like Claris. That is the only piece of Lupin the Third media I've watched. But now is not really the time for tangents, because we are about to witness the King's triumphant return. And yeah, for obvious reasons, this is why you need to bring Sasha if you have her, and this is the person she needs to talk to. Raphael is one of those kings who is a royal who actually does something, as TV tropes would say. That's pretty much every royal in Fire Emblem, for the most part. Even if they're questionably successful sometimes, like Marth's father. So, as you can see with this map, something I didn't talk about during deployment is that when I mentioned in the last chapter this map may suffer from Fate's map design syndrome, I meant in the sense of Dwyer's paralog. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The seize point is 2 moves away from Runen at the start of the map. You can end this really quickly if you want to, which is at least 1 turn better than Dwyer's paralog. But I'm not going to do that. I want to get some experience here. So, yeah, just bear in mind you can do that. You will also miss out on something very, very good, because if Runen talks to Raphael, then, well, that'll recruit Raphael, but also he'll get something very good out of it. He's unfortunately a green unit right now, but he's strong enough that he should be able to survive for quite some time. The enemies here are not a threat to him, even with Devil Lancers. He has Pavese, and he can take them on pretty well. You might need to physic him a few times, but it's usually not going to be that bad. Oh, I was really hoping that Raffin would be able to take out 1 swarm enemy. I actually need to kill that Entombed in order to do that, and I don't really want to, well, do that, because I'd like to save that Entombed for someone else, though the Entombed may end up just suiciding into people like Naren anyway. Like, I'm just wondering, how resilient are you against swarms? They only have 15 attack. That's not super terrible. Oh, if I put my attack speed down to -2, though... Because they have 15 attack versus her, 9 magic, which is like, I don't know if it rounds up or down, that's like 4 resistance. They are still something of a threat to her, is the problem. But I mean, Naren could... I did give Naren a ranged weapon. He could take out one of them, and actually, Z could also take out one of them. I mean, I could also transform Tom, but that may be a liability with all these, reinforcement monsters about. Okay, this really pains me to have to do this, but this is one less swarm enemy, and that's probably worth it. So, goodbye Entomb with my most overleveled character. Again, as someone who often plays for experience, this is painful, but, it'll be worth it. I just really don't want those swarm guys to be around, and, you know... I would say that, you know, funnily experienced towards specific characters is Pitfall, but at the same time, I kind of am funnily experienced towards Naren here. So this guy is going to get dead right now. Let's see. Yeah, you still have, Can I, like, No, that's my strongest weapon. Of course I can't one-shot you. I can one-shot you with a crit if I get one. Here's where I put a crit, if I had one. Come on, Raffin, you can crit. You can save yourself from potential swarmage. And if not, well, okay, you didn't get it, but we at least get to see the cool animation, which you may have seen before if you watched the preview video to this series. It looks pretty cool. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to fade out. It's just... That black screen fade out takes ages. The actual spell effect itself goes away quickly, but, yeah. It's a lot of waiting before you get a chance to do something in return. Now I'm honestly wishing I actually did send, because I put Leonie over here because I felt like she'd die to swarm if I set her up there, but at the same time, I didn't realize how quickly I'd take out the swarm guys, and with only one swarm guy and no other ranged attackers, this shouldn't be too bad. In fact, I believe, like, I'm not doing the maths in my head 100%, but I believe that's a one-shot. Well, that's definitely a one round. Yeah, that was a one-shot. Okay, so that's 2 swarms down. And again, like, nobody else here has ranged attacks except for Swarm. Oh yeah, oh, you can't even use Kishar's Wrath yet, because of, you know, the turn count. I mean, that doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get a level up regardless. And in fact, if she misses, that might actually be not a terrible, like, not the worst thing in the world, because then she could, you know... Then maybe Leonie could get one of these. Because Leonie doesn't actually have Paragon yet, and if she kills the Entomb, that'll put her closer to it. But at least the mummy died. Reminds me of, I always called them Entomb. Entomb not in Zelda, but, what are the mummies? Gibdo, that's what they're called in Zelda. Gibdos are actually weak to fire in some Zelda games. In some games, it burns off their robes and they turn into a regular Stalfos. Oh, I wish I had a dancer on this route for I almost said for Plum. No, for her. Raquel, yeah, Raquel kills monsters and doesn't afraid of anything, so she should be fine. Oh yeah, Mince should probably... I put Mince over here just to support Leonie, but, I mean, if she's going over that way... And I also put Bilford over here, because Bilford actually does a decent job of tanking the ogres when they come. Also, Levin Sword Bilford hype. He can actually use that at base, so I just gave it to him because it's funny. Gotta remember, yeah, that is a devil weapon. Could she also get... Okay, no, she won't get swarmed if she goes over there. Well, I just suddenly thought of a very weird tangent. Speaking of Swarm, there was this kind of, like, free demo of, like, an insect-based, real-time strategy game called Swarm Assault that I played a lot of the demo back in the day, but I don't know if the final game ever came out or if it was any good. There were different factions that were all unique too, but they only had like 3 units each. It was obviously not a very high budget game, but like you had like ants, wasps, spiders, and they promised that in the full game there would be scorpions, including quote-unquote the deadly ninja scorpion. Yeah, every faction only had 3 units, and Yeah, I forget. I know that, like, ants had, like, one, like, a bazooka, I think, and then... I remember the wasps being pretty fun. The spiders had missiles, which were a little bit broken because they could shoot the enemy base outside of its range. Yeah, Runen needs to be heading to Raphael as fast as possible, but, I mean, I suppose he could go there. He could get swarmed if he goes there, but I'm not really, too concerned about one swarm. And I don't think really anything can... I mean, if anything, I want Tom to be able to shoot gargoyles later on. So I'm not going to ballista him just yet. Meanwhile, the chump squad back here, who I'm only deploying just so that I wouldn't mess up the rest of the order, are going to just hang back. Do I need to physic somebody? Well, every little bit of HP counts. I've been watching Iron Man death montages lately, and I'm getting paranoid every time somebody has just barely less than full health, so I'm just gonna be safe. I don't know if I would ever Iron Man a game one day, but I don't know which game I would do if I were. Like, again, it would probably be a non-serious thing that I would maybe only show a highlights reel of. I want to kind of prove that I can at least beat one game as an Iron Man, maybe, but I don't know which game to do it on. Like, Radiant Dawn is probably the Fire Emblem I'm most familiar with, but it's also pretty hard, so probably not a good first Iron Man. I probably wouldn't play on the hardest difficulty either. Anyway, here come the monsters. This is kind of like Monster Mash, the chapter. And that is why I healed Raffin. Because, yeah, these guys have a lot of attack power, and Vantage is not gonna... I would say, I was literally about to say, Vantage is not gonna one-shot them unless I crit, and then I crit. So as always, Vantage with crits is pretty effective. Okay, all three of them here. Please don't kill Raffin. Or, alternatively, Raffin could just Vantage crit. Nope, he didn't Vantage crit them all. And he dodged one, that's good, Raffin's fine. Never really see him, like, pull the lance back like that before. Oh yeah, by the way, I gave the Salia Codex, you may have already seen this, I gave the Salia Codex to Leonie, just because lol, and I'm actually wondering if I should put the Salia Codex on Holmes' route next time. Because, like, that's where we're going to be training more, so maybe the Growth Enhancer is, I talk about it like it's drugs, but maybe the Growth Enhancer is going to be a little bit more effective on that route. Raphael crits a lot, by the way, get used to this. He's getting hit a lot more than he usually does, though. This is actually concerning me a lot. He usually doesn't leave that house, so he does get an avoid bonus from that. And going for Runen, because why not? Oh, that 1% crit is scary. And that missed. I love how it's, like, conjuring this, like, illusory insect that kind of, I imagine it attacking your very soul, or something like that. That sounds melodramatic, but that just kind of reminds me of, like, there's... I think Warhammer 40k has a lot of, like, psychic powers that are like that. Like, it's an attack that damages the victim's soul and leaves their body looking completely uninjured, but they just fall over and die. I mean, it's a disturbing idea, but it's also kind of cool at the same time in one of those settings. Oh, actually, maybe I should have put Leonie on the other side. She'd have a better chance of going for the Entomb that way. Yeah, the Entomb kind of like to run away. Okay, Ogre's going for the King. He might actually need a Physic. And there are more gargoyles up there, who are all annoyingly durable, and for some reason they have a lot of crit. I guess because their weapon has 7 crit on it. Can't quite get to the summoner this turn, but I should be able to do it next time. And 9 attack speed. This is why I don't like gargoyles. They are incredibly, like, just like in Gaiden, not so much in Sacred Stone. Sacred Stone's gargoyles are okay, but Gaiden gargoyles, which these things definitely are just a pain because they have solid defense, and they also have decent enough attack speed to the point where they're annoyingly hard to double, so they're a lot more durable than they seem for things with such low HP. That's why I like to get rid of the gargoyle guy as soon as possible. Often Sasha takes him out, but I don't have Sasha here. Okay, Meriel is super, super close to, yeah, that summoner has got to go. Skeletons aren't going to be worth a lot of experience in the long run, so let's clear the way. I gave Zeeg the Slim Lance just because, like, there are some things that maybe he needs that to double. I mean, he couldn't even double Barbarossa with that, because he gets 16 attack speed with the Slim Lance. I think this is the first time we're actually seeing Bone Walkers in battle, but yeah, he gets 16 attack speed, Barbarossa had 13, so you would need, you would need 18 attack speed to double Barbarossa, and I'm pretty sure that at this point, like, I think that only Sasha is capable of that at this point. Aha, here's where trading is useful, though. Because I think Naren should be able to double with the Slim Lance. So I can do this. People have talked, like, in the comments about how, like, quote-unquote Thracia trading is kind of overpowered. I haven't played Thracia in ages, but I'm guessing it means that, like, you can trade an unlimited number of items and still attack in the same turn. Which admittedly is kind of overpowered, but in Thracia you need all the help you can get. Canto one space forward, why not? Okay, that's another Swarm guy, but he's not in range of the King, so it doesn't really matter. So what I wanted to do here was I wanted to... Oh, right, we are in Kisar's Wrath time, which, by the way, is named after an Akkadian Earth Mother goddess. One of the, I believe they're a grandchild of Tiamat? They seem to be a grandchild of Tiamat. Who, I'm pretty sure was not a dragon, originally. Just like Bahamut was actually a fish, but I think a lot of people know that at this point. Yeah, Akkad is, I only really know it by Sargon of Akkad, who was like a hero unit in a... I don't know if it was Empire Earth, it was an RTS game I played once. But yeah, like, those civilizations are Age of Empires 1, and that was before my time. I started Age of Empires with 2. Okay, I double you, but I don't kill you. Alright, this is the problem, because if I flurry... Oh, she has a 100% hit rate. So... Like, she dies to 2 hits from Swarm. She does... 8 per attack. So the question is 8, 16, 24. Okay, 3 attacks. 3 attacks and he dies. This is going to be kind of based on how Flurry works. Because I go 1 hit, you attack. 2nd hit, you attack. 3rd hit, he's dead. I also have 20 crit from the min support, so... And also this guy could miss too. So I think I'm probably safe doing this. I think in terms of the order of attacks with Flurry, she should be fine. This guy should go down before his 3rd attack goes off. Yes, that's 8 damage. 1st attack, I'm gonna guess this hits because... No, it didn't. Okay, that's good. That makes things easier. 2nd attack. Oh, he didn't even go again. Oh, because he can't double, of course. That wasn't even worth a lot of experience either, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, this guy is not going to, like, one-shot anybody with that spell. So I'm probably safe here. Now, the Devil Weapons are actually kind of a threat to Raphael, so I want to take out the Devil Lances as quickly as possible. I would laugh so much if I got the Shadow Cultist random drop in this map. Oh, wow, okay. Wait. I am dumb. I am dumb. I was like, oh, she can one-round this guy, but no, because it's a human. Yeah, they may be covering their faces with helmets and be evil cultists, but they're still humans. So, Raquel can't kill them. I am dumb. I keep forgetting about that. Okay, I get this weird feeling that... Yeah, you have -4, but I still can't double you. Which is unfortunate, even with -1. And yes, I gave him the Armor Slayer just purely for irony. Just, you know, because it's funny. Haven't really had much use from that Armor Slayer so far. You don't really fight a lot of Armor Knights in this game. Just trying to think about where Runan goes. I mean, the boss is probably just going to Kishar's Wrath, like, in the center anyway. Wow, you can't even get to Runan if he goes over here. Just getting him over to, Raphael. I can probably afford to still use the Slim. I could flurry that ogre. That's not a bad idea, actually. I mean, as funny as Levin Sword Flurry is, I think Pylum Flurry is probably more reliable. Also, speaking of Mints, I completely didn't notice at all in the last chapter that Mints had like a 90 crit rate because of he was on 2 HP with Wrath. Yeah, Wrath in this game is kind of insane, though it's usually not that safe to fight on HP levels that low because even though this game does have a little bit of an offset for low hit rates missing more often, it's still not nearly as reliable as true hit when it comes to evasion at low percents. So again, not really that that safe to fight on HP levels that low. So you don't I find that you don't really see that often the effects of that. I wonder if the Entombed are going to attack Runen. I don't know if they will. There's kind of a funny tactic to give somebody a Devil Spear. No, you're just going to physic that cultist, so maybe attacking him was a decent idea. Because now you've just given up your action, your attack, for not 1 turn, but 2 turns, because you can't use Kasar's Wrath next turn. The downside is that you now have way higher attack speed. I don't know why you're attacking Raquel, but I won't question it. There's something that I actually say a lot when I play Fire Emblem games. It's just the AI of Fire Emblem was weird sometimes, and I'm always just asking myself, I don't know why you attacked that person, but I won't question it. It's just, it is kind of weird. Raquel's probably going to end up accidentally choking that point. I wasn't intending for her to choke that point, but she'll probably do it anyway. This guy's probably going to, like, at least one of them is probably going to crit me. Gargoyles don't... Oh crap. Please don't surround him and prevent him from killing the summoner for 1 more turn. Ah, what do you know? He actually did go for Runen. And I don't... No, Runen probably does kill him, because, Entombed suck. Or not! Runen sucks more, apparently. I'm not entirely opposed to Runen getting the kills here. Oh, actually, no, it's fine. Raffin has a free avenue of attack against that guy anyway, because the second Gargoyle decided to, again, Fire Emblem AI, an enigma to me sometimes. The second Gargoyle decided to fly up rather than box him in and potentially protect his master. Yeah, the Ogres really aren't much of a threat to Raphael, and he just 2-shots them. There should be a nice demo of just how good Raphael is. I'll talk about him once I get to the bio, because he's a little bit interesting. I forgot Bilford started with Pavis. There are also shops here and houses to visit. But yeah, he's just holding this place all on his own. You don't even need to worry about getting rid of the Ogre Summoner early, because the Ogres are no threat to him at all. Probably didn't even need to heal him either, but, Sigh. Leonie can't get to the... I was like, oh, hey, I could save that for Leonie, but no, because of... Yeah. Yeah, like you, I'm not going to be able to double you with most people, but... And I'm not going to be able to... Oh, holy crap, I actually can flurry him, though, with the wooden bow and do 1 damage per shot. Is that the... I'd be sad if... No, it's not the best accuracy I've got. I do have the bow gun. Which, I need to correct myself. At the very least, he's even here too. Shiro can use bow guns at base, but that does gonna kill his accuracy. You get what I mean. Like, I don't know if... Oh, 15 magic. That's quite a hurdle for you to eat through with Starlight. I mean, it still does a lot, though. Just saying. I mean, like, ideal situation is that Leonie finishes him, but I don't know if this is gonna, like, work, especially with how bad of an accuracy the bowgun has. Oh yeah, I can't flurry you because I cannot get enough attack speed, regardless of stuff. Okay, yeah, their movement's not great. I was first saying I need to worry about movement with the Gargoyles and Meriel, but at the same time... I actually double this guy with Raffin. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'd rather go for the higher crit rate. Like, what is... Like, Raffin's hit rate right now... Although killer weapons do have enormous hit rates. Even though they're not technically killer weapons in the Japanese version. This is the Needle Spear in that version. And okay, no more gargoyles. The gargoyles aren't really a huge threat, they're just annoying, so I like having the gargoyle summoner dealt with early. It's just like, I normally have Sasha to take that guy out, but I put Sasha on Holmes' route for the lore. Okay, this guy, so I can talk about this. I actually have a video on my channel. For some reason, this guy... Our dream will finally be realized. You won't stand in our way. Even if you do, I'm going to use my secret weapon and crash the game! So, in the first translation patch for this game, this guy's boss quote would sometimes make the game crash. I don't know why, and it seemed to activate on some weapons, but not others, and there wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason to it. Like, sometimes it activated at range, sometimes it activated at melee. I attacked him with Vega using a scimitar and it crashed, and then I attacked him using, Vega with Shram, and it didn't crash. Both times it was in melee, so I don't know why that happened, but it's just like... it's so bizarre. I don't know why that was a thing, but I mean, it's probably a similar reason to why Ragnarok in Gaiden had a tendency to crash the game in the early fan translations of that game. Because yes, that is actually a thing that Ragnarok used to do. I remember making a lot of jokes about that in when I played Fates. I was like, oh, I'm using Ragnarok, better not crash the game. So I have a video from August 2012, back when I first played this game with the very early translation patch, and yeah, it's, okay, do you, like, just tink the Leaven Sword entirely? No, you take 1 damage from it. I'm just trying to think if there's any way that Mince can not kill this guy. 18... You know, to be honest, there's really not much of a reason to... Does anyone else know? Nobody else here has Physic. There's really not much of a reason to even go in with Mince. But I'm going to put him here anyway for the support bonus. I mean, that's a solid hit and critical rate. As long as I get rid of any of the other threatening enemies, she should be fine here. Because this guy can't kill anyone next turn, regardless. Of course. Okay, yeah, I'll take this guy down with Naren, actually. So yeah, this all should work out fine. This is not a particularly hard chapter, and like I said earlier, you can end this in 2 turns if you want, but I don't recommend it because you'll miss out on talking to Raphael. I don't know, I'm pretty sure he still joins, even if you don't talk with Brunin. I mean, that's not really a spoiler, of course Raphael ends up joining. No, Zeke has Kanto, I can just do this. Oh, speaking of Kanto, I'm dumb, I should have had Mince use the Kanto scroll by now. Because as I've said, he has no real competition for it at the moment, so... Yeah, I may as well just use it on him and be done with it, because it is actually kind of helpful. Mince is decent overall. Will he cap everything? That is the question. Now, I wonder if you're gonna actually go for her. In which case, you know, maybe she should, fight them instead of the boss. I was thinking, like, for a second, those bushes must have had some kind of weird movement cost on them, but no, it's just that, that mummy was blocking his way. Okay, she definitely can't kill that thing, so... Though I really don't want the Shadow Lancer to attack Bilford, but it's not going to be in range anyway. I recently did actually hear little clips of some music from Vestaria Saga, and it's actually really, really good. But yeah, I've heard very mixed things about Vestaria Saga overall, because I've seen, like, there's a meme about Vestaria Saga's final map and what it looks like, and it's just, like, there's so many map events. I don't think it's, like, an exaggeration to say there's, like, 15 map events, because, really, there's, I wouldn't be surprised if there were that many. Meanwhile, Tom will slowly trudge his way forward. She doesn't get doubled. Attack speed 0, 2. Yeah, even with the crossbow, she doesn't get doubled. You heal a little bit, but you can't do anything this turn. For a hidden village, this place is actually, like, has some pretty impressive architecture. You wouldn't normally expect a hidden village to have, like, a, sort of a... It's not really even a cathedral, it's kind of like a Greek-style palace in a way. Okay, nice dodge there. That Arch Ogre, or Great Ogre, does slightly worry me. But we'll see if it ends up doing anything or not. I mean, it's not going to be a threat to Naren or anything. Now, this guy may actually die to Runen. But Runen is very, very weak right now. He kind of... I usually get him a little bit more experience. I think that's probably... Or Runen just doesn't want to kill the mummies at all. They're just flittering around. I don't know what they're even trying to accomplish. Oh, he dodged anyway, because Raphael. And this guy instantly dies. I don't know if the stats are at all randomized on the ogres, but I'm pretty sure he just one-rounds all of them guaranteed. Okay, you can use Kassar's Wrath now. He's going to be healing a lot, but at the same time, like, the two Entombed are probably worth more experience to Leonie than... I need to heal her, though, because otherwise the boss will one-shot her. But yeah, they're probably worth more to Leonie than the boss is at the moment. In fact, maybe Meriel should attack the boss again, because that way she gets, because I wanted to try and promote this map. Because this is, I guess I can say it, this is actually the last Runen map before the next reunion with Holmes, which isn't for a little while, because Holmes actually has quite a lot of maps to go through. Yeah, that actually does kill him. I'm not opposed to that, honestly. Because then the other Entomb will just attack Leonie. She has nobody in her, nobody threatening her, and she can just take it out next turn. Or, you know, I just had to think it. I was just like, or Meriel could miss. That could also happen. Oh, she's getting close, though. She's getting really, really close. Do I spare you for a turn just for... I mean, I don't even think I can kill him this turn either, so... That's actually kind of scary, because he could, Kassar's Wrath her down to low HP, and then the Entomb could... So it's 4 plus 20, she does actually die to the Entombed if this guy... that's really annoying. I actually do kind of need to kill him this turn. So I'm just going to go for this and see if I get a crit. I mean, this will potentially save Leonie's life if it works, so I guess that fits for Mince. And there we go, crit, good. No more game crash for you. Oh, God of darkness, lead my soul into your... Sorry, that voice went all over the place at the end. I completely forgot the voice I was doing for him initially. I don't normally do silly voices for characters, but that guy just looks so weird that I had to. Okay, so Leonie is a bit safer now. I would have taken him out with Raffen if that hadn't worked. And now I'm just starting to think that Tom probably won't even get any action here at all. No, I don't want to waste the Killer Lance here. So I'll just do this. So, yeah, I forgot earlier, but what I was saying was that video, I have a video of the glitch with this boss. I don't know why it happens, and I did actually have some speculations on what might be causing it in that video, but they're all annotations, which are gone now because YouTube. So I don't really know what I was even speculating back in the day. So, yeah, but it was bugged somehow, and it was, yeah, really strange. I don't know what was causing that, and it seemed to be a problem with his boss quote, because after one person got their boss quote against him, then I think I actually need to weaken you with Raquel before I do anything else. After one person got their boss quote against him, then anybody else could attack him and they'd be fine. So it was just his boss quote, and whenever you didn't get the glitch, then his boss quote would display for a split second, and then it would just instantly fade. I don't know what was up with just that boss in particular, but yeah, fan translation and even just inserting translations into anything, this is actually objectively my best option against this guy, which is hilarious. But, yeah, fan translation, like hacking text into a game is just a fine art, is a very fine art, and yeah, it's very difficult sometimes, and you never know what you might end up breaking just by inserting a language into a game, a language that it wasn't designed for. So it's very weird sometimes. But yeah, you get things like the fact that Naren still one-shots you even though he doesn't double. But you get things like, the Ragnarok crash, and you get this specific boss quote crash in the game, but nobody else's boss quote crash in the game. And that is cap strength on Naren, which is also the highest, stat cap in, no, actually, wait, no. Artillerymen can reach 30 defense, so 25 is not actually the highest possible stat in TearRing Saga. It does get higher than that, but, I mean, good luck getting Tom to 30 defense without grinding for stat boosters or something like that. Just gonna see if Tom can go down here. It's kind of funny. We will be seeing gargoyles on Holmes' route too, eventually, so, I mean, nothing else can really threaten her, so I don't think I should do that this turn, but, I mean, not using Physic on Runen cost me an entire chapter earlier, so I probably shouldn't, press my luck too much with... Okay, good, you can't reach any of the chumps. I really shouldn't be pressing my luck too much. Speaking of pressing my luck... No, you're an attack, Runen. 13 and 13. Runen wouldn't die anyway, even if he had 0 defense. No, I don't want to use the rapier. I mean, or Z could just take out that guy. I'm not really too concerned about Z getting any enemies here, but I might as well. Yeah, Devil Lance, why not? Let's use the Cold Zone weapons against them. Zeeg being the only person who can actually handle this without the risk of backfire. But if you were to, for some reason, have another Devil Lance or have one spare, it actually sells for a decent amount. Which is probably its best use unless you like gambling. Which I personally don't do, but it's still funny. Devil Axes always lead to funny moments. I knew you'd do that. Okay, so right now, Meriel runs the risk of not reaching her next... Oh, actually, though, but if the Gargoyle attacks, he could crit. Just reminds me of a line from a Winnie the Pooh song, of all things, about a Skullosaurus attacking. But, yeah, if the Gargoyle attacks her, he could crit, and I would just lose all my hard work. I'm just trying to think about who I get that in tune with. Because Raffin is actually not down there to intercept that Gargoyle, and, Tom's probably not in danger unless Tom gets crit twice. Which probably won't happen, but stranger things have happened. Oh, it's instantly gone to the player phase because that was the last enemy. So yeah, alternatively, Tom could just attack you in tank form. And completely explode you. Yeah, like, Tom, that movement aside, Tom actually has his uses. There's a surprising number of annoying monsters that don't like Tom at all. Because, yeah, so my logic is that I'm going to be sending Leonie to Holmes' route after this, and she can just grind freely there, whereas Muriel is staying on Runins. She actually has to stay on Runins to get a very, well, no, not just a very good weapon, her second personal weapon. So, yeah, if I want to promote her in this chapter, this is pretty much my only chance. So, Face the Light, Entombed. It's just like that thing where you get the Sun Song in Ocarina of Time, and you get that vindication by being able to use it in that room with all the Redeads and stun them all. That was always so fun, especially if Redeads scared you as a kid, which they never did for me, honestly. What actually did scare me as a kid was Maple the Witch in... Oh, she can actually flurry that ogre, maybe. In Oracle of, like, Ages, which is really kind of the weird thing to get scared by, but if I ever get around to doing a co-commentary with my sister, I will talk about that, because that was technically her game. I talked about that quite a bit, I think, in my Smash World of Light play. Oh boy, you have really good growths, and you have the Saga Codex, and you still got a 1 stat level up. That is annoying, but at least 1 more level and you get Paragon, so that's fine. Okay, Runen can talk to him now. Unfortunately, now Runen has to trek all the way back to the Seas Point, so this chapter is going to be dragged out a little bit. But this is definitely worth it. Oh, so that actually was Grimrood's old armor. Interesting. It's kind of unimpressive protection-wise for armor. In fact, I'm just thinking about this. Like, why is it that Fire Emblem characters gain more defense as they level up? I mean, I guess I can see that as them learning to make better use of their armor to deflect attacks better, maybe? Not just any sword, too! Huh, word travels fast. Somehow a little bird told you that we'd stopped the Chancellor. Yes, there's 4 things. Well, it's already mostly secure. Okay, so the name of this sword is really weird, but first I'll talk about the sword itself, because it is pretty strong, 12 might, only 3 weight, and it heals you with every attack, because it has a built-in soul effect, and it's effective against monsters. And it only requires 5 mastery, meaning that most sword users can use this. It's meant for Runen, but it doesn't have to be used with Runen. Oh yeah, by the way, Runen finally has enough mastery for 11 swords. So this is a pretty cool weapon overall, and it has a bit of interesting trivia when it comes to its name. But before I talk about that, Raphael has joined us, so let's go over him. Long live the king. Raphael is actually one of the most formally underrated characters in TearRing Saga. Back when people first discovered the game, they took a look at his ridiculously good class and starting level, noticed that his base stats were considerably lower than his caps and that his growth sucked, and brushed him off as bad. Well, the thing is that even though those base stats aren't anywhere close to 25, they are still good enough to take on the majority of the game from this point on. 13 speed is actually all you need to double most enemies, and 17 base strength is insane, especially when it can be buffed by Empower. Wrath, Pervise, and Urbanite are also a great set of starting skills, and then he gets Flurry at level 32, although that requires an occult book. The real thing that makes Raphael so good though is his versatility. With 15 base mastery, he can use practically any sword, lance, axe, or bow in the game. Things like Arbalests and Chukonus, he can do that. Want to kill tanks with hammers? He can do that. Want to have him use that soul sword he just gave to Runen to become an unstoppable tank? He can do that. This guy's just the Swiss Army knife of the party. His main weakness though is, well, just look at those asterisks. He loses lances, axes, and bows when dismounted, and because Royal Knight's crazy stats mostly come from its class bases, they go down a lot when he dismounts. He kind of sucks in indoor maps, though he maybe makes up for it by having the best dodge animation in the game. But yeah, do not sleep on this guy just because his growths are bad and he probably won't reach his caps. He does not need to. This guy is basically a second Zeeg. It's kind of amazing that even with a slim sword, he was obliterating these enemies, but, anyway, so that sword, the sword that's called Soul here, the weird thing about it is that in the Japanese version, its name was Main Star. And why the name, like, I'm guessing they changed it to make its effect more clear in this fan localization, which I do appreciate. However, the weird thing about this is that some people in the previous, chapter were talking about how they felt like, they didn't recognize the name Slayer Sword for, Barbarossa's weapon in the previous chapter. That's because it was called Soul Sword in the Japanese version. So, they change the name of one weapon to be the same name as the name of a different weapon in Japanese. It's like Ragnar and Alondite all over again. No, not Ragnar and Alondite. Alondite and Etard. That's it. Wow, Silver Axe. That's impressive. And, hey, guess who can use that? In fact, I could probably give it... No, I can't actually get him over there right now, because he does only have 7 movement, even though he isn't one of the most busted classes in the game. I guess you can visit this vendor. I kind of want Leonie to take out that ogre. So what do we have here? Just pretty standard stuff. Not a whole lot. And, okay, we have one more gargoyle. Which, you're gonna take down. Yeah, that's a level, isn't it? Luck, I think, is one of his lower growths, so that's a weird level. I don't think there's really anyone else around there. I can promote Muriel next turn, and I'm gonna just go ahead and visit this house. Okay then. Failed mage. My mastery growth was so low that I couldn't use this. Ah, Belongala. Weight 14. Yeah, Muriel's the only person on Runan's route who can use that, period, I think. And it completely murders her attack speed. Though she is one of the faster mages, so maybe that's, not a terrible thing. She's still like, and also, I mean, actually it is a terrible thing because, her Starlight just is completely superior, apart from the fact that Bolganone will probably give her, more experience. Oh, wow, another physics staff. I'll definitely take that. Even though I think Holmes needs them more right now, because he's running out of physics staffs on his party. And that's pretty much everything except for promoting Muriel and that conversation with Raphael and seeing what the other armory holds. Okay, I knew you'd do that. I'm pretty sure you don't double or anything. That would be really horrifying if you did double. Like, my heart just actually, sort of temporarily stopped for a second because, I was like, oh crap, what if he doubles? But, thankfully he did not. Bowgun Flurry. Yeah, let's do that. And then promotion, and then... This is a relatively short and simple chapter, and it's already taken me like over 50 minutes because... I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing with there being more enemies around and battle animations being on. I could turn them off, but I just think things are more personal with them on. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out what they're selling here. Then promotion, and then I'll probably just cut to seizing, because there's nothing else I can really do. Halberds. We are going to be fighting more cavalry soon. Oh yeah, I actually do kind of like that silver bow. But, Raphael doesn't have anything to sell, which is ironic because he's the king. I want that. Okay. So I did say before that Devil Lance... Oh wow, that sells for barely anything. I thought those sold for a lot. Magic Shield. I'm not really using this. There aren't a whole ton of really dangerous magic bosses either. I can always buy those later. I just really, really want that silver bow. Because Raphael actually... You can't even buy it if your inventory is full. Well, I mean, he can buy it next turn. But yeah, Raphael can use that, and I actually find that he's pretty effective with it. But anyway... Now, I am missing out on 2 skills by doing this. I forget exactly what they are. I know that, like, if you get to that level promoted, you get... Oh, actually, I'm only missing out on 1. I think it's either Wrath or, Luna, which I almost call it Geomancy, which is its Japanese name. But she doesn't really need either of those. I'd rather have her promote early just for the extra points of magic. And movement. Although movement is actually not even going to matter for her when she gets her next, personal tome. Pretty nice speed, too. Like, at this point, if it weren't for her subpar movement, she'd actually be a pretty effective combat unit. Without much speed, she could one-round quite a few things, even with just basic fire. But yeah, there's no enemies left, there will never be any more enemies on this map, and that happened. Silver Bow, give now. And there we go, that should be map over. Well, I mean, I guess you could call it grueling, because it only took like 8 turns, and at the same time, it's, only 8 turns is low for me, but, it still took almost an hour. No, we certainly would not. Yes, most people could hardly contain their joy. He does support a lot of people, so this is actually true. It seems like most Fire Emblem Kings get betrayed by an ally, and I just realized that, this guy is basically Marth's father, except he didn't die, because Marth's father also went into a big off-screen battle and got betrayed by his ally. Oh yes, one of these again. Oftentimes in strategy RPGs, they kind of have to justify why the all-powerful kings that you recruit later in the game don't just immediately become the leader of your army. But yeah, the gameplay... I guess it makes sense for this guy because he did suffer enormous casualties at the Battle of Bolt, so it makes sense that he doesn't consider himself fit to lead now. But yeah, gameplay-wise, they have to keep the same Lord. Although I do like how Radiant Dawn lets a lot of other characters get the turn of being Lord sometimes, like Joffrey and Ranulf and Tiban. But Kanegas never does, and because of that, his 5-star authority never does anything, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, oftentimes these kind of self-deprecating people, they tend to get a little uneasy if you start praising them. Oh boy, exposition time. So, all of you, like, a lot of you got, like, brain exploded by the exposition back at the start of Chapter 17. Well, this character right here, Clarice, you're gonna love this, you're gonna love this. She is Ishizu Ishtar. She exists to give exposition. That's her entire purpose in this story. So, yeah. And I do think, like, aside from the, deployment slots, this game's exposition dumps are this game's biggest weakness overall. It's kind of amazing that I still came out of this story liking it, because it is definitely an example, a case in point of how... this dialogue's important, so I'm just giving it time to sink in, of how too much world building can actually be just as much of a problem as too little world building sometimes. So there's a secret royal. I still can't take this guy's name seriously. King Badum. And wouldn't be a totally not Fire Emblem game without brands of dragons being a thing. So yeah, I told you Nareth would be important later. So the reason why they imprisoned the one with the brand was because they feared that they could go out of control and destroy somewhere. And their fears weren't entirely unfounded, because Morsa actually did end up doing exactly that later. That's interesting. We never heard that Salia had a princess with a brand. This is actually leading me into something that I'll probably talk more about later, that I really like the way that this game handles Manicheets, and I also realized that, there were actually no Dragon Girls in Fire Emblem at this point besides Tiki. It's kind of hard to believe considering that, you know, young-looking Dragon Girls have become such a trope in Fire Emblem now, but at the point this game came out, it was just Tiki, so these were the first besides her. And the way that they're portrayed is very different to how they're gone into in any Fire Emblem game. They're kind of deconstructed a bit. A lot of the later Fire Emblem games deconstruct the dragons in a way of, oh, they go mad and destroy things and stuff. But here it's more that they're deconstructed in the sense of the experience of what being one of them must be like. Having everyone treat you as a living weapon. They're basically living weapons of mass destruction. It's a bit like the Valkyria in Valkyria Chronicles. So yeah, Gwen Chaos killed one of the sages, stole the ring, and forced the shaman to become Morsa and do his bidding. Whoever has that bracelet controls the dragon form, and that's why Katri almost giving herself up to Mahen would have been a really bad idea. So yeah, Morsa didn't really have a choice in what she did. She was just the weapon. Gwen Chaos was the one who actually fired the bullet, essentially. And later on, Eisenbach got killed by him too. So I think at this point we're starting to figure out what Gwen Chaos wants. He wants all 4 of the rings, so that he can control all the legendary dragons. And that's why this place was attacked. They separated the ring from the shaman, but, didn't really help. As far as exposition goes, though, I actually don't think this is that bad. This is important, and it's all the same topic. It's not like the one back in Chapter 17 where they exposited like 4 different events at once. Yes, where is she? I think at this point, most people watching would have figured this out by now. I mean, Katri is one. It would only make sense. A certain somebody on our side was heading to the Mars Temple, to the Sage, and we're about to get the reveal dropped right now. Yep, it's her. I can see why she's hesitant though, because she would be basically confessing that she killed his father and a whole lot of other innocent people. Even though it wasn't her fault, I can still see why it's so painful for her. And so with her name actually being Maeve, I can talk about... I'll do that later though, but I'll talk about like what the significance of her name is and why it's a double pun that requires you to know both Japanese and German to get. So she was the one who was trapped in the shrine for her whole life out of fear that her power could be misused. And as it turns out, she actually knew Runen before. This is something interesting, because the fan translation actually did change a little bit of this plot point. In the Japanese version, it was true that Runen did not remember her at all. It was very much a case of young Dimitri and Edelgard. I don't know if that's much of a spoiler. Like, Runen just completely forgot her. In this translation, they actually changed it so that they do recognize each other from the start, or at least that's implied, but there's mutual misunderstandings on both sides that prevent them from fully confessing the truth. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. This is one of the first big plot changes, even though it's not really that, doesn't really affect all that much, honestly. Like, I don't entirely know why it was changed, either. But that will end the chapter, and Runen's route for this act of the game.